Baki never saw it coming in a million years. That head get beat down by Musashi without landing a single hit back. The speed and power he was always so proud of got smashed to bits right in front of Musashi. Even with his demon brain switched on, he still came off totally helpless against Musashi. Keep in mind this kid is the strongest on the planet. Yet here he was knocked out cold by one of Musashi's hand chops. 2.5 seconds later Baki dragged himself off the ground. But then he tossed the samurai sword right to Musashi, and Baki grabbed himself a long sword too. Mimicking Musashi's stance, Musashi looked a little puzzled. Had already sliced the guy up countless times with his invisible blade. But Baki said, if Musashi took him out without even picking up a real sword, that would just be way too boring. Hearing that, everyone there froze. Musashi pointed at his own head and asked Baki, are you out of your mind? Who's taking out who here exactly? But Baki said dead serious that he came today planning to settle this for good with you. Musashi busted out laughing, then pointed a finger up at the sky, saying he'd conquer this whole country with his blade, cutting his way up until he reached the very top. Sure, Musashi's little speech was all fired up and passionate, but Baki saw right through it. The guy was lying. Truth is, Musashi knew deep down he had no business still being alive in this era. Then Baki copied the way Musashi gripped his blade and put every bit of strength into hurling that long sword straight at Musashi, so fast the eye couldn't even follow it. But Musashi just reached out and grabbed, snagging that faster than a bullet blade clean with one hand. But all of this was exactly what Baki planned. He knew a guy as strong as Musashi could catch it no sweat. But what Baki was waiting for was the moment both Musashi's hands were tied up. That kick just about knocked the soul right out of Musashi, and the long sword landed right back in Baki's hand. By now Musashi was flat on the ground, not moving an inch. But Baki didn't take the chance to finish him off. He had once stacked up his own fighting skills against Musashi's. Modern fights let you go at it round after round, while a samurai era duel meant betting your life. When it comes to brutality, there's just no comparing the two. But in the end, the result is the same. Whether you drop your opponent for a 10 count with strikes, or lock in a joint hold to force them to tap out, the winner holds the other's life in his hands. So modern fighting is really no different from those old life or death sword fights. And right now Musashi's life was in Baki's hands.
Wakey, wakey!
Baki's shout snapped Musashi back from being knocked out. By now Musashi had already lost, but Baki still wanted to settle things with him once and for all. Hearing that, everyone there was taken aback. Does this guy really have to fight to the death? Musashi glanced back at the sword lying on the ground, unable to believe his blade had actually slipped from his grip mid-fight. But it made him realize that whatever you're holding will leave your hand someday. Baki told Musashi he was sorry, because today he had to put Musashi in the ground for good. Musashi asked, with that sword in your hand, I'd back off if I were you. Hearing that, Baki got up off the ground too. What, you think I can't handle a sword? With that, Baki swung another slash, the long sword carving a perfect arc through the air, and the next second an invisible blade of force ripped out. Seeing this, Musashi couldn't help but be shocked. He never expected that even as an amateur, Baki's skill with a blade had reached such a masterful level. Musashi lifted his head and looked up at the sky. All his life what he chased was a blade that never left his hand. He could put up with being alone, but he couldn't stand that empty feeling of being apart from his sword. That was exactly the wish behind his quest for the swordless state. Musashi really envied the bare-handed fighting of Baki and the others, because they'd long since turned their own body parts into weapons, and the body never parts from you, so they could never know his kind of lonely